Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the TEW9 series exploring the Portland Territory from 1970, Mammoths, Mammoth Mod. And yeah, already up to episode 10 if you've been following along this far. First of all, thank you very much, and you've got too much time in your hands. But if you've been following the story so far, we've gone through the televisions, we've looked at wrestlers, we've looked at a few of the features, and now we are up to the P&W end of the month show, which is essentially our pay-per-view, what we've been building up for. Also, making this one interactive, it's not just a watch along. If you want to add some ideas here, and my first one for the ideas, should we start giving names, like individual names, to the events that we have at the end of the show, the end of the month show? It's very generic, which was, of course, of the time of the 70s. There wasn't Starcades, there wasn't WrestleManias, there wasn't, the war to settle the score. I'm thinking of the earlier ones. But we're working from history here, but we can change history a bit. Why not? I've got a nice logo here for Portland Wrestling to run the end of the month shows for, but open for gimmick ideas or just interesting names and how we can make some logos for that. But we've got to the main event show. We know there's quite a few people who are away, but let's just go for it. Let's see what we can pick up locally. So there's another aspect of the game. I think it was in the last version as well, but also it can be very helpful to see who is in the local area. And especially at this time, as a lot of people you can draw. Let's have a look. We'll get to that in a second. So this is preparing for the show, and this is going to be very important, the venue that we choose. Give the night off. I don't think we have the manpower or the wrestlers to actually give anybody the night off today. Everybody is wrestling. Tonight's venue, we could stay to our little Portland sports arena there where we run our TV shows. Basically our place, and we can run it for free. But we're expecting 11,499 fans. So I think we have to look for a bigger venue. Memorial Coliseum will cost us 20,000. We'd probably fill it up. It's not a hotbed. Now, hotbeds are very important as well in the game. You could say, if you're looking at a real life example, like the Philadelphia Bingo Hall, the ECW arena, that would be a hotbed. So you're going to get people who are going to be in the area going to shows there who are wrestling fans. So this is not. Let's have a look. You get 2,300. That might be a good place to run TV in the future, but it's not going to work. We've already looked at that one. 20,000, but we get, let's have a look, 17,000. So in fact, it costs the same amount, but also we won't get a sellout. Will it look better if it's filled up? I'm not sure. That one is cheap, but far too small. Cowboy Opry, it's got a good name. You can run a spot show there, maybe. One time if we're running out of ideas in the future, maybe that'd be a cool thing to do. The Enchanted Forest. Oh, it's an amusement park. I want to actually have a wrestling match in a forest. That'd be cool. So imagine that you just walk through a forest one day and you hear like magical fairy music, and you're like, oh, there's a wrestling ring, and like pyres with fire and stuff around, and just like matches going on in the middle of a forest, nobody watching. We're not going to choose that event, by the way. And this one, 100 is a Jewish community center. 100 people. I've wrestled in places where you can fit less than 100 people in. There's no shame in that. So I think either the Memorial Coliseum or the Seattle Center Coliseum. The economy is rising and industry is rising, but I think we're not going to be able to fill this one. And if we do get a sellout, we can maybe consider the Coliseum for the next one. So this will be, do you want to use the Memorial Coliseum? Yes. Pre-show incidents. Okay, nothing's happened there. Okay, interesting. No broadcasters. I was looking into seeing could we get our events televised, but there was nobody bid for that one. And I'll tell you for why. We want to be able to grow in other areas. We only can have shows in the Northwest. And yet we are the Northwest Territory. I understand that. But one of our requirements is to try and grow to the next stage. And we have to get a presence in, I think, the Southwest and in Mid-South. And the only way I can see to do that is to have some sort of television presence or run our events in Portland, but have them on TV for free somewhere else. But no one's biting on that so far, so I'm not sure what we're going to do. So we've got the meeting here, lots of points here. Spend creative energy. Well, let's look, what do we have as ideas? Big gamble, creative finish. That's a very big risk. Maybe somewhere on the card, but not the main event. Inoki, a safe bet, creative finish. I am pretty sure I'm going to use that one today. The Claw, if he's turning up to end his feud with Dean Ho and continue that feud. Maybe he could be in that one. So we've got a lot of finishes there. Let's do an angle there. Safe bet, we could use on anybody. Brilliant. Storyline idea, why not? Character idea, no. Gimmick idea, maybe gimmick idea. Okay. Locker room incidents. Head men's trainer Antonio Inoki ran the pre-show training and did basics of safety for 2 students, Greg Valentine and Roddy Piper. Word is that it was a pretty awful session. I can just try and imagine what was going on here. And Roddy Piper was just trying to give it lip and just like, I don't want to do the training drills, Mr. Inoki. And he was just maybe wanting to do promos or just trying to do his promos of Greg Valentine, who was saying, I'm a second generation star. I don't have to run the ropes. I can just see those two giving it back to Inoki and Inoki being like, oh, just forget it, guys. Just go get changed and get ready for the show. So Mark Lewin and Frank Bonimer, who is on our announce team, really getting on well backstage, and their good mood was infectious and lifted everyone's spirits. See, that's good. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see. Luther's making everybody angry backstage. I talk backstage how much Greg Valentine is being influenced by Dean Ho, acting a similar way. Okay, and this is strange because this is Greg Valentine's first day in the company, by the way. And the head referee, Jack Lotz, has been hanging out with Dean Ho. Okay, everybody's good. This is positive things. Nothing negative so far as I click. Nothing negative. Everything was a positive today, unless, the awful training session, but didn't result in anything negative happening. It's good. Address the locker room. Okay, so Inspire is available, which it's not usually on the TV shows, you might have noticed. And think of Inspire would be like, remember Paul Heyman in the Beyond the Mat documentary, him standing on the steps there, telling the whole locker room, we're better than you are, they're better than they are. All the things he used to say to make them feel like they could run through a wall for him. So I think we do that one this time. Could also do team bonding. You can only choose one of these before the show. Pull a rib. I've not done that one yet. Intervention. That could be good if we know that there is issues going on with people. But Inspire, if this works, it will hopefully give everybody's match performance like a raise on the show, and therefore will lead to an overall better rating. So we'll use this one. Are you sure you want to use this by a 60-day waiting period before you'll be able to use it again? Okay, so there'll be 2 shows, essentially. I'm thinking yes. You have given an inspirational speech. The entire locker room is now fired up and buzzing with anticipation. Oh boy, are they going to be disappointed. They're like, yay, we wanted to see Luthez. And I'll be like, oh yeah. Yeah, Luthez, he couldn't make it. He was doing a signing, with a replica NWA belt at a used car lot down the road. But hey, Dean Ho is here. Okay, so what I want to do is, so we clicked on before to do the creative inspirational power thing for a gimmick. And how do we use that? Because we have to use that before the show. So we go onto our roster page here, and we have a guy, Greg Valentine, set to debut a cocky gimmick. We click on that one. Let's have a look. You cannot use that one there. Because I would like to use that on his gimmick here. Okay, maybe we can't use that there. It's sometimes there. So to click onto that one, I'll just do that one again so you can see. So you click on Greg Valentine, you can't put it there. I thought that would be a good place to put it, but never mind. You have to go into set to debut gimmick. Again, you could have had it here. Too many clicks. Sorry, I'm getting my work mind on here of how to do things more efficiently. So, creative idea, likely to succeed. Bit of a gamble. Let's do the bit of a gamble one. Swagger, cocky. It's going to be because it's going to be part of an angle now with Roddy Piper going forward, as we explored last show. So we'll put that one there on him. And Roddy Piper, why not? We can change his gimmick as well. The young Piper. Tweak gimmick, gimmick change. Realistic. What could he do? Comedy, swagger, Weasley, underdog. He can't play dominant badass. I think he could play a badass. I've seen Welcome to Frogtown. I've seen They Live. He could play a badass. Underdog. For this one, maybe he is particularly good at. Okay. Young upstart. Because that's going to lead into he's had the Piper gimmick, which has been great, so we don't particularly want to change it. But I'm thinking we're going to start this new feud. We'll see Piper as the underdog. Greg Valentine's the cocky. They're both young people. They're both under 20. We use our creative things there just to give it something else, just to give it something extra. Now let's save the things that are yellow. Absent workers. Absent friends, Chris Colt, Dick Murdoch, Dusty Rhodes, Frankie Lane, Gene Kinitsky, Paul Diamond, Tiger Chun-Li, Torquemada. Does that mean that Lou Thesz is available to wrestle? Wait a minute. It does. Okay. And before we'll do this first. So we've got this one. Okay, add to the booking sheet. And the title is on the line, the Pacific Northwest Championship. I think it's a cool name for a title. It's 14 minutes. I've been watching a lot of Portland wrestling recently, mainly from the 80s. And Dutch Savage there is kind of one of the lead baby faces. And his trajectory in this game as well, I'm hoping he's going to be around, have some good matches as a kind of heel here against Inoki and against some of the other baby faces. But ultimately, he's going to be this kind of heel who's around the territory so long that people start to like him and they are drawn to him. And then maybe he has some sort of turn and saves another baby face. And in my mind, his long term, I'm like 5-6 years in game time down the line, he might be our lead kind of like gruff, rough, but baby face. But we'll see. We'll see if we get there. Anything can happen in between this and then times. And that's why we'll play. And that's what we'll see. So Inoki has got a creative finish. We want him to win this match. And what else do we want to have? It's a cage match. Do you want to overbook it? There's a thing here to overbook, which can help hide a poor in-ring performance. I think in the case of these two, overbooking a cage match wouldn't be necessary. They are both accomplished workers. Inoki, I'd argue, is the best worker we have on our roster. Maybe call in the ring would be good, so we don't have to overbook it. Do we want to have some sort of crazy bump in this one? Or stunt bump? The gimmick part of the ring. We could have Dutch Savage. I am not willing to take a stunt bump for a company less than medium in size. Okay, they've got another reason why we should get a TV deal outside of the Northwest and try and grow. Okay, he protests a bit. We'll book the segment there. Boom, it is at the top of the card, the main event of the evening, cage match, 19 minutes. And the reason I don't want it to go like a longer time, we're going to have matches on the card, which will be longer, but that will be all intensity, all violence from Dutch Savage, all technical maneuvers from Inoki. You want them to be able to go all out. And therefore, putting it as a longer time will affect the rating. This is kind of the perfect time. Also for this kind of audience. Okay, so we've got that match booked, 93 minutes more. A lot less interview times and stuff for this show. Let's have a look. Tournaments, local work, alliance titles. Could we borrow the Texas tag team titles? We could do, but the champions are away. Central States, they're working in Missouri tonight for the lads. I can't remember who's the promoter called. Missouri. It was Harley Race's territory. It'll come back to me. But we can hire a local worker. Let's have a look. Who do we have local? Let's just reset here. Oh, that is the local. Okay, I thought this was cutting out. Okay, Ella Waldeck, Judy Grable. She was famous there. And an American non-worker. Wrestler. Who is he? What does he do? It's another broadcaster. So there's no wrestlers available in the local area. Nobody who wants to work at all. Role any kind of wrestler. So we could have these two in a women's match. We could put that on there. When we know they're available, we can hire them on a short-term contract if we're looking to have another match on the card. Okay, so we've got Inoki, Dutch Savage. Let's have a look. Who else have we got? We reset. We'll look for a tag match. Luthez is available to wrestle. This is going to be interesting. So Luthez is a star. Who could we put Luthez in that with? We've got Ray Stevens. He's available as well. So we've got a lot of wrestlers who are usually absent from TV who we could use this time. Major stars: Dean Ho, Antonio Inoki, Tony Bourne, Luthez. A lot of good baby faces here. Who do we have on the heel side? Claws, as I keep on stacked. Okay. What about the Von Steigers, tag team champions, versus Ray Stevens and Luthez? So we're not putting the pressure on Luthez to have a singles match and try and out-wrestle everybody. We're not wasting him because we're going to put him up quite high in the card for a longer match. I'm going to put him in a title match with a heel, because we know in the main event the babyface is going to go over strong. So let's play with the idea here. Yeah, that's correct. And these ones here, and the titles are on the line. And this is going to hopefully lead into an idea I have later on, which I'll explain. So we can do this one. Maybe storytelling, because it's a longer match. And we've got people like Ray Stevens there. He's going to be doing an interview. Open match. Keep strong. Luthez and Ray Stevens. Tainted win. Now, are they going to protest a lot to this one? Let's see. Oh, all right, let's figure this one out. Storytelling. Take away that one, take away that, take away that. Open storytelling. Could we have some sort of disqualification finish? Double disqualification. Dusty disqualification finish. So Dusty DQ. Winner Ray Stevens. Could we add in a creative finish here as well? Big gamble. Okay. We're putting it all on the line for this one. So a Dusty finish, DQ. So we're going to have a thing where these guys win, but they don't win, and then they get the titles, but they don't because these guys keep the titles. It's going to be the talk of the town. The entire Portland is going to be talking about the night they screwed over Luthez and Ray Stevens after this one. Okay, nobody protested to that one. Good. So we don't have to have many angles. 95% should be matches, so 5% angles. But since we've got Ray Stevens here, backstage, cutting a promo. Ray Stevens. What is Luthez like for doing an angle, for doing an interview? Should we just have Luthez, but not cutting a promo, but just dramatic acting? Non-speaking appearance. Not that I don't think Luthez is a good promo, but so Stevens and Thez promo on the Von Steigers. Backstage cutting promo, 6 minutes. There we go. So that'll really hype up that match there. And let's have a look. What has Luther's got as actual charisma? You know, he's not going to be higher than 63. I'm worried about his body condition, though. Body is 50%, legs 50. So that's what I'm saying. The best way to use him, I think, will be in a tag match here. So Inoki and Savage in the cage match in the main event. Get to see Luther's here. His signing at the second-hand car dealership, it was in the afternoon, so he could make it there for the evening show. And everyone's very happy he's there. Getting a chance at a title match here. And we know what's going to happen, but the audience does not know he's going to get screwed out of it at the end. But we've got Dean Ho. We like Dean Ho. He's our number one star. We've got him doing nothing so far on this event. A Hungarian nails match. What is that? Hungarian nails match is a brutal singles bout. I've never seen that before. It's in the ring surrounded by hundreds of iron nails as legal as weapons. Okay. I don't think our audience would like that one. Max content risk. We have to go low. What could we have for the Claw versus Dean Ho? Parking lot block brawl. I like that idea. So Dean Ho is wearing street clothes, faces the Claw. I'll make it only 10 minutes. Wild brawl. We'll put that on just before that tag match. So the tag match you can see is kind of a let-up thing here. We've got a bit of a screwy finish there. So now we want a clean finish. Dean Ho. Clean win. We've got Wild Brawl. Can we have the Claw doing a stunt bump? He wants to take a stunt bump, but he doesn't want to. He's being asked to, and he's not protesting. Bad reaction from the fans, but why? Okay, not a parking lot brawl. Do we have anything which is prestige? Does it have to be very low and average? Okay. Shoot fight, street, any kind of street fight. Can we have anything like empty arena? How can you have an empty arena match in the middle of a card? It's like you tell everyone to leave. It's like go out and get popcorn, buy merchandise, and then you just don't let them back in, and they can just hear about the match happening. Weapon on a pole. We could have that. What would the weapon be, though? Let's say Iron Claw on a pole match. We're getting into dangerous Russo territory here. What is an Iron Claw on a pole match? Well, there's an Iron Claw with things on it, let's say at the top there. And let's say Beauregard, and we'll do an angle here. We'll do an angle to explain. So backstage, an interview. Got a fella here, Frank. No, we don't use Frank anymore, do we? Who do we use to do the interviews? That fella there who'll be upset if I don't use him on the card. What was his name? He was doing the announcing before. I'm not sure. We can use Lance Russell though. He's the voice of Memphis. We like Lance Russell. And he's interviewing Beauregard, Gary Hart, and for intimidation, the Claw. Intimidation. And of course, Dean Ho. What is on the pole? Question mark. Gary Hart explains that the mystery item which can be used on an opponent during the match, if retrieved, is an Iron Claw. Picked up from the city of Bangkok in Thailand. Unknown to maim many man. What is on the poll? We have got the answer. We'll do that earlier. Now we are 84 matches. We need to get more matches on the card. I'm thinking a 6-man tag. We should keep these settings on here because we know this is what the fans want to see. Do an elimination 6-person. I've been watching a lot of Portland wrestling recently, and they do these 6-person elimination tag matches quite often here. Then they do like Roddy Piper versus it was like the Bushwhackers, but back when they were the sheep herders, and they had like Buddy Rhodes and people like that. So Eric Froelich, he's also got a good momentum, wholesome babyface, technical flyer. Lonnie Main, we know he is in a feud with Frankie Lane there, and Tony Bourne, again with Gene Kanitsky, who's not here tonight. And the heels they will face. We are running out of good heels. Oh dear. Haru Suzaki, Bill Ramos, and Ivan Kamarov. There we go. For this one a bit longer, use some time there. And we'll have a clean babyface victory there. Regular match or storytelling? I think just regular for this one. It doesn't always have to be storytelling. It's wrestling, there's going to be stories being told. 5th elimination. So Tony Bourne to win. Let's get Bill Ramos, he could be the last one there. 33 minutes more to proceed. We'll put this idea of the poll thing here before. Booking analysis. Okay, these guys were using too much. Let's have a look. Who have we got as the biggest stars in the event? Who we haven't used yet. And this is the problem now. We've got major stars, stars well known, recognizable. Nobody's available. So we might get penalties here for using people who are not stars on the show for the last half an hour. So Roddy Piper, Greg Valentine. Have them in a short match to start the feud. And it's going to be a draw. Storytelling, yeah. Open match. And a double count out. So we don't want them on the show very long. I've got an idea. I've got a good idea. Here we go. So double count out finish. And that'll be the start of the feud. And then we'll have the what's on the pole thing, and then the 6-man tag. Let's hire locals. Let's hire Ella and Judy there. I'm going to be a face or a heel. Exclusively in ring. You're going to get $50. Yes. You're going to be hired here as a face, exclusively in ring. Okay. This is 1970, so there's no intergender wrestling, at least on this stage. But we can have Ella versus Judy here. In a short match. We're telling them to go all out. All we can do. Steal the show. Open match. Judy Grable goes over. Right, we need 19 more minutes. We've got some gimmick match here with Roddy and with Greg. We've got a lot of wrestlers left, and if we go to office here, one thing I've noticed is we've got a lot of money. We have a lot of money, we've got no real way to use it. We make money every single month. We can't go into different territories, we bring in the wrestlers we want. Why don't we do a battle royal? Battle royal like they used to do in the old days. Like a $10,000 battle royal. Now in the old days, yeah, maybe it was gimmicked a bit, and maybe the winner of the 10,000 battle royal, maybe they didn't actually get 10,000. Why don't we do it? Why don't we put all the big stars in, and we can, for a shoot, whoever wins it, we give them $10,000, and we don't pick a winner. What do you reckon to that one? Everybody on YouTube there. So we'll put in the guys who are on the unimportant list who are not using. So we've used the entire roster. It's 9 of them. Let's pick up some big stars here. Let's bring in Luthez, Ray Stevens, Tony Bourne, Eric Froelich. Dutch Savage and Inoki in the main event will save them. One of the Von Steigers. And who else could we bring in? Dutch Savage, Inoki, Haruki Sasaki. Let's put Lonnie Main in. And we'll call it the, let's have a look here, the $10,000 Battle Royale with cheese. No, we'll just call it the 10,000. And we will do that. When the show's done, start of the next episode, we will give $10,000 as a bonus to whoever wins it. And we will say to lift the crowd. Should we have a creative finish on here as well? That could be funny. Currently assigned. Okay, we won't have a creative finish. So, 40 minutes, 90 minutes total. We're going to start the show with a battle royal. The only aim of the match is to lift the crowd. Book segment. So we don't choose the winner or the loser. That's going to be decided by the game itself. They're probably going to choose the person who's most over, and that person, we will give them a shoot $10,000 bonus. Okay, so we have on the booking analysis Keith Jackson. He was the interviewer. He's the only one we're not using. We'll have him in an interview here. Let's just do a quick interview. 2 minutes backstage interview. Keith, I've got everybody on the show. Roddy Piper, Greg Valentine. Piper is interviewed by Jackson. That'll be in between these ones. Everything looks set up. Anything else we've forgotten here? It looks like quite a short show. This is also because we haven't filled it up with angles. We're at 90%. It's mostly matches. That's what the people want to see. Pre-booking's done. Everything there's done. Yeah, a little bit of a complaint there of using people too much. I say we start the show. What's the worst that could happen? And the $10,000 Battle Royal on the show, end of the month show here by Pacific Northwest Wrestling, being held in front of 11,336 people in the Memorial Coliseum. They had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Luthez won a Battle Royal in 13 minutes 52. And I just realized we were going to give him the 10,000, but after this one appearance, he will have left the company. Therefore, he will not be a member of the roster, and therefore I probably won't be able to give him $10,000. See, that's how promoters and gimmicks and bookers, that's how they get away with not paying. It's like, I was going to pay you, but you left the territory. I did this check for $10,000, and you just, there was a car dealership in Wisconsin you had to get to. Anyhow, it's interesting when you don't actually put a winner or loser, what happens here. But you see here, the wrestling rating 52, crowd rating 34, but this exceeded everything because we've got an amazing, a good crowd and a roster which is very motivated. So we've got some good bonuses here. So brilliant. And the last person there was Carl Von Steiger. And we know the Von Steigers and Luthez are going to be in a match later on tonight. So maybe the feud will continue on for one night only. Gimmick changes. So he, bonus will receive to look dominant. So it's good. A good rating. New gimmick. This young up-and-comer Luthez. Crowd heater ends simmering, which is it's a good thing to have. It's good to have this kind of level at the beginning of a show, because then, and I think can just boil from there. In about that decent wrestling but little heat, Judy Grable defeated Ella Waldeck with a kangaroo flip. They tried to, but the fans now they still want to see. Okay, it's an odd one. So the crowd rating was down. The wrestling was okay, hot and rising. Even though there's two red notifications come up here, and this was so low, got the crowd buzzing. So the wrestling was good, and the people in the crowd who liked that kind of wrestling, who want to see women's wrestling, they were like, "Yay, this is great." But the majority of the people were there were like, "We want to see men's wrestling. This isn't what we came to see." It's unusual. But in this era, I mean, we have to change some of the product ratings, and we can do that. We'll look into that if we're going to have a women's roster. And again, we're in 1970 now. We can only grow. We could have a complete women's roster with a women's title. That could be something we have in a couple of months' time. In a poor 2-minute interview that took place backstage, an interview with Roddy Piper with Keith Jackson was the interviewer. Additionally, there was also Greg Valentine, so he's interviewing about Greg. And the changes, let's see how they went. Changed the gimmick. It was a success. Now he is a Weasley underdog. We'll see how this one grows. But we're going to see straight away because they're going to be in the match. And Greg Valentine also debuting a new gimmick right about now. Let's see. The gimmick and the match. Good rating great rating there for his cocky gimmick. And the match brought the crowd down. So this was a lead balloon. Double countdown. So we got the crowd up for the Battle Royal. A portion of the crowd liked the women's match. The interview, they were like, what's this going to be? And we've kind of tanked it now with this match. So the gimmick is okay. His gimmick's gone okay. Storyline's lost heat and then the crowd's been brought down. Okay, swagger, cocky, Greg Valentine. He could be like the MJF 1970 if we play our cards right here. That's what I'm thinking. And if you've got any ideas in the comment section here, we put these two with more of an established tag team partner. So Roddy Piper has a babyface partner, Greg Valentine with a heel partner. Something that they can not tank the matches when they're in tag teams against each other, and then Greg Valentine can fight whoever the veteran babyface is. Roddy could be beaten up by whoever the heel veteran is, and that should give a chance for everybody to grow, everyone to learn, the audience to learn who these guys are. 21 rating is pretty bad, but my idea is these two are young guys. If we keep them in the territory for a couple of years, learning, getting better matches, I mean, this is only going to get better from here. Oh, and here we go. Brilliant. Crowd here, still unclear, but still. And he explains about the mystery item, the Iron Claw. And it's got a 64 rating, and it is advanced the storyline here. So we're building up to the gimmick match, the Iron Claw and a pole match that's going on later tonight. And here we go. And about had good wrestling, a decent reaction from the crowd. So I think we've killed the crowd here. Roddy Piper has killed the crowd because the heat is still unclear. And the 6-man tag here, the baby faces went over strong. But Bull Ramos sustained a triceps contusion. So that means he might be, I don't know, bruised underneath his triceps. And Tony Bourne was off his game here. Okay. Got a 52 rating. Don Owen comes to us. Yeah, we know about the triceps contusion. Can he work through it? We'll see. The crowd's warming up again. Here we go. An exceptional wild brawl. Dean Ho defeated the Claw in a weapon on a pole match. And he got a submission with a full Nelson. I'm hoping he got the claw down, put it like behind his head, the Iron Claw, and then wrapped on the full Nelson there. Made the claw tap out. So a wild brawl for a crowd who were buzzing already for action. I'm not sure what that means though. Oh, it needs, okay, the crowd were not warmed up. Okay, because we kind of tanked the crowd and we're not ready for this. Well, they were happy with this match though, which is good. And I'm happy that they're happy. 63, and we're getting the crowd up again. And then we get a great 6-minute interview. See, Ray Stevens, he can always deliver that. And we're getting the crowd hotter, hot and rising. It's going to be good for our last 2 matches of the show. Are they going to deliver? Let's see. Next segment. Boom! 74. It's one of our highest ratings. And that's how you use a Luthez. That's how you use somebody who's got a higher level here. Because he got a 67 for in-ring performance. I promise you, if we would have put him in a 20, 25 minute singles match, it would not have got as good a rating as this one. And because we had a creative finish and we had that dusty finish here, and they had to... It's brilliant. So they did this in the double over smash, reversed the decision. So we had a dusty finish. So it was a disqualification, reversed it, whichever. They ended up with this one. Ray Stevens, Luthez, arms raised at the end of the night. Obviously, Luthez is going to move along. Von Stark is going to keep the championship belt. White hot. So this should have been the main event by all standards here. But remember, we had this as a storytelling type of match. So don't be afraid to use that one if you're booking your shows. Storytelling, you can get up to a 74 rating, which is way and above what we're expecting here. Let's see, we've got a white hot crowd. We've had a brilliant match here. Can we get over 74? I'm skeptical, but we don't know until we click next segment. Let's go. 68. There we go. And the creative, the finish there was a failure, and that was one specifically Antonio Inoki had thought up there. Well, let's look at the breakdown here. In a bout which had superb wrestling and great heat, Antonio Inoki defeated Dutch Savage in a steel cage match in 14 minutes 11 with a submission with a Manji Gatame. And the wrestlers went all out to steal the show. But I think seeing Ray Stevens and Luthez in their match just before this one, that's what the crowd were here to see. That's the kind of wrestling they like. Cage matches are not as interesting for them. They like the good, strong tag team match. But Inoki in-ring performance of 81, and that might be our highest for in-ring. Dutch Savage, he wasn't quite up to it. 55. He's not up at a level matching him, which is a shame. But we can see who we can move Antonio Inoki onto after this one. Because this one feud might be done with this one. I can't see a third match being there. Got the crowd buzzing, which is good. Creative finish was deployed, but was a failure. That can happen sometimes, even if it's counted as a safe bet. Overall, it was 68. So we would have liked it to get over that 74, which the tag match got, but it didn't. We'll see the overall rating of the show. I think it's going to be a lot lower than 68. We'll see. A 64. Okay, so overall, we're getting over our levels at 58, 59. As long as we're getting over that, we're going to increase our popularity, which is good. But if we'd had ended with this tag match and had this match maybe at the start of the card somewhere, changed completely. Okay, I've got to admit, Roddy Piper, Greg Valentine, double count out. Even though statistically it was a small part of the show, it's only like a 4-minute thing there. But it didn't work. These two are the clear things that we need to find help with. The rest of the show, that would have got us up to an even kind of 68, 69 for an overall rating here. And these comments here used too much, not too much of a problem. Let's see anything happen post-show. Address the locker room. I'm saying Inoki, give encouragement, point out, praised for a great performance. Then giving him a hug, maybe going too far. I don't know what Inoki-san will think of that one. Who else did really well? I think Ray Stevens. As I told that they are awesome, because they are. Ray Stevens did brilliantly. Luthez, can we give him that bonus now? I don't know. We can give some encouragement. Verbally repeated this, mocked about their poor cardio. Oh dear. Never used to these ones. Let's give some encouragement to Roddy Piper. Just to give him some morale, a boost. It was not a good night for him. Rick Ronaldo, I don't know. No, he wasn't about Raw. Roddy Piper's the guy. Make the speech. He's pleased. Ray Stevens is pleased. And Roddy Piper is pleased. Injury review, so it can be worked through. Okay, 3 days. He's going to be back before our next TV. If we want to use him, he's got this ongoing feud with Dusty Rhodes, but it's not setting the world on fire either. Financial report. Ticket sales. So you see that you get nearly a $250,000 ticket sales for these big shows, which also makes me think, should we do 2 a month? We got 2 a month maybe and 4 TV shows. That's an easy way to make money. But money isn't our problem right now. Our problem is growth. So we need to get TV in different places, I think. Drug testing is 0. Not necessary. Bonuses and perks. Who got a bonus? Popularity recap. So we stayed at 59, but we're at the higher end of that. So there's a lot of statistics in between that as well. So we're probably at a high 59 there. And we'd like to grow. We'd like to grow into the Mid-South. We'd like to grow all over North America. We'd like to be in Canada. Why not encroach into Canada a bit? I know there's already a promotion there. But we'll see. Anything could happen. I mean, in the NWA, if a promotion would go out of business, let's see what happens post-show here. Before we get to the end of the episode, let's see the mail here. Frankie Lane came back. That's good. He can continue his feud on there. Luthez is gone through contract expiry. I was just going to give him that $10,000 as well. Well, Ramos, we know about that one. So, I like what Lonnie Main is doing in the ring. He's only going to get better with time. And then he's also your tag partner, so you should have sort of a mentor role for him there. Well, that's good. That's positive. So, after the show, post-show now, what should we look at? 29 wrestlers there, and 2 days until the next show at Portland Wrestling. So let me know if we should change the end of the month show, 27 days time. Should we come up with a cool name for that one? Let's go ahead to the end of the month, see if anything interesting happens. 30th of April. We know there is no 31st of April, unless dates and times have changed. And then we will see what is happening at the start of the month. Any big news stories are going to break? Anything here? Okay, Bruno Sammartino bonds with Sky Lolo. Vince McMahon is arguing with Sky Lolo. Dick the Bruiser. That's a great picture. And he's having an argument with Miss Sherry. Is that Sherry Martel? It doesn't say. Recovery for Chris Colt. He's should go on my newsfeed here. Okay, so we've got a couple of wrestlers coming back from injury. We've had our big event now. We're going to look into storylines on our next episode, who we're going to feud Inoki with, who's going to be the next challenger that we should build up. We've got a whole month of TV into our next big event. Let me know if we should change the name. Portland Wrestling end of the month event, something a bit more catchy. Should we try and merchandise our events? Should we have a gimmick event? Should it always be a cage match? Should it be a last man standing match? Should the show be called Portland Wrestling Last Man Standing Inoki versus? But all that to come on the next episode. Okay, thank you for being with us. We've been at Portland Wrestling 1970 Mammoths mod. Check it out in the Grey Dog software forums. And until next time,